FPB lab at Howard University in Washington, D.C. He earned his bachelor's degree and PhD from Howard University with formal training in computer science and artificial intelligence. His research focuses on applied AI, spanning bio-inspired AI methods, AI-driven chatbots for disaster preparedness, and intelligent systems for improving microfilm scanning and digitization. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Ariel.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone. I hope the day has gone well for you. I'll begin my presentation. I actually had an intro prepared as part of it, so you might hear some repeat over there. But I'll begin. Um, I'm gonna briefly talk about my Research Catalyst program, the AI Collaboration Hub, where the goal is to broadly, I'll start there, is to partner with as many researchers and plan towards cyber infrastructure growth at Howard University. Next slide, please. So I'll briefly go over the background, the introduction, motivation for the project, the approaches, like what kind of approach we're taking, how we're measuring if our approach is doing well, what the results, the progress are, and what the next steps and vision are. I'll wait at the end for some questions, and I'll leave a contact link at the end if any of you wish to email me or contact me through the lab site. Yeah, so briefly introducing myself, Jessica did a great job there, but I'm Saurav Aryal. I'm a senior research scientist, and I lead my own lab called AI4P C Lab. I think there was a typo there, and which is part of the HCI Institute. I'll talk a bit more about the institute in a bit, but I'm a Howard alum, did my undergrad and grad there, classically trained in CS and AI. Transformers came out while I was in graduate school, so it was around that time. So a while back now, in retrospect. Um, and before starting as a researcher, I was a lecturer, teaching faculty in the computer science department. If we keep going, my co-PI is Dr. Lee Genberg. He's probably more well known in kind of this domain. He's a professor of computer science, previously a chair. Um, I'm surprised everywhere I go, people seem to know him. So just put him out there. I see a couple of people and head nods there already. Okay, we'll keep it going. I'll briefly talk about my lab here. So the AI for PC lab is a lab under the Human Centered AI Institute, which is a research institute funded under ONR. And it's one of the four major labs underneath there. Each researcher leads their own lab. And my lab specifically, we focus on, as the name suggests and the vagueness suggests, AI, artificial intelligence for broadly positive change with focus on health, knowledge, and society and humanity. So I'll briefly talk about the type of projects, and hopefully that vagueness of that name will make sense down the line. And based on kind of where we are this year with this project as well as other projects that we're participating in. Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah. So, oh wow, that morphed. Okay. But that logo is not how it's supposed to look. Um, in the previous one, you'll see the logo in the corner. We'll keep it moving. Yeah, so why do the Research Catalyst program? I'll briefly talk about the motivation around it, like the sign of the times and what kind of led me to apply at this point and why we're doing what we're doing. Next slide, please. So as we all know, AI is everywhere. The White House has its own action plan. Howard has an AI initiative. There's two large research institutes. Um, and Howard's kind of recently reached R1 because of these larger AI institutes. And AI is literally everywhere, and it feels like overwhelming at times, even as a AI researcher myself. We have positive things with AI in healthcare and drug development and protein folding, but then autonomous cyber attacks, and then problems with overuse and other problems persist with AI. So AI needs to be studied. is clearly established. Whether it be good or bad, it's a new technology and it's something that merits further study, whether it be in use or in development. Next slide, please. And yeah, AI needs to be studied, but modern AI, to study it, we need a lot of compute, or you need a lot of API credits. So API credits not being scalable in a research sense. So if we talk about the existing AI computing gap, Nature has this nice piece that came out over a year ago. And recently there's this leaderboard, which ironically uses AI to gather online sources and calculates this metric. It was published a couple of months ago, where they calculate roughly the number of GPUs per CS student only. I believe it was because it was a CS student at Stanford who wanted more GPUs. But you see, of outside of Princeton and Harvard, not even the top universities can afford to give provision 1 GPU per student. That's how difficult compute infrastructure is. Interestingly enough, there were about 165 programs on the list, 166. I believe Howard was the only HBCU, and we were ranked 161st. So there's a lot that we need to do at our university to provision resources for researchers as well as for students. Next slide, please. But AI is not the same as cyber infrastructure. So understanding that difference and kind of planning towards both is important. I'm an AI researcher, but I'm not all in on AI. AI is really good. It's one of the tools that will probably change a lot of things, but it's not the only thing that needs to be studied. And cyber infrastructure spans multiple use cases and needs to support a lot of research, education, training, everything. And they're under resource institutions exist, and MSCC is kind of founded under that principle. So that clearly this is enough motivation for us to kind of consider funding programs such as mine, which prioritize AI and cyber infrastructure development. Yeah, so I'll briefly talk about my approach, and kind of go from there. Yeah, so the AI Collab Hub is basically an instrument first and then partner approach, where we'll procure a pretty sizable compute cluster. It's very GPU heavy. We will place it in a university on-premise data center, which is managed by the AI, the technology director of our on-campus technology services. And the AI Collab Desk essentially will provide a sort of centralized service where we will work with researchers across different disciplines to kind of train their students to understand their research, and people who are interested in using AI in their research to understand whether it's feasible or not, and kind of form those partnerships and kind of develop research as we go by instrumenting and providing what's necessary for the research to be done, and forming partnerships that require AI expertise, and bridging that gap is where we fit in. I'll zoom in a bit more on the next slide. So we can keep going. Next slide, please. Sorry. Oh.
1 second. I'm not sure why it's not moving. There we go.
Yeah, so essentially the paradigm is very simple. The AI Collab Hub, the name being amazing, is essentially me and a couple of students that I'll be training, who will be working kind of to facilitate the testing and preliminary results of using AI on any researcher that's interested in participating with us. Right now, we're limiting it to Howard University, but I am more than interested in partnering across the world, is what I like to say. And the idea is to word of mouth. And through intermediary researchers, we will kind of spread our CI needs assessment survey. We've found at least through initial discussion that not all researchers are fully understand their CI needs in like CI terms, like how much storage you need, how much all of these, how much compute you need are not answers or questions the researcher should be answering. So hopefully we're able to kind of understand those needs through practical work and collaboration better, and build those profiles. And in the process, we'll also be training students on using AI, and GPU modeling. So the second step being kind of train the students, produce results, write as many grants as we can, and promote student training and CI needs assessment. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the metrics for our project for the year are to support at least 5 new AI projects, facilitate at least 3 new external research proposals that could be anywhere within the federal government or elsewhere. So NSF, NIH, DoD, DOW are prime candidates so far, and train at least 20 students, primarily undergrads, 2 of which will be assistants on the collab desk in advancing AI tools and GPU-based computing. And through our partnerships and all the research groups that involve with us, document CI profiles for them as we kind of do these projects, so we better understand the CI needs within an AI landscape, and also through conversation, probably more generally. Next slide, please. So broadly, I'll talk about the results of what's been done so far. So we've enabled quite a few projects. So we're on track. We're doing physical AI, so soft robotics, 3D printed. We're building it out from scratch. That's taking a while. We're working on a number of speech-related projects, and you can keep going. We're a lot more in healthcare. Recently, we partnered with the biology department here, and we've been added to an Army Research Lab award for connectomics, and like I said, a chatbot for decision making, which is partnered with, I believe, CMU's AI, so Social Decision Making Institute. So we're making some inroads in our partnerships, and we're understanding diverse needs across different disciplines. Next slide, please. In terms of student training, we've formulated an initial questionnaire, which we'll be pilot testing with the College of Engineering this month. About this month or early next month, about 20 students have already been trained. They were trained last semester on AI and modeling methods, and about two undergrads were selected for kind of manning those collab desk hours. And we've identified some initial expansion and research funds through the HBCU MSI initiatives at DOW. I know NSFCC has a few that are probably coming later in the year. Simmons, I met with a couple of people there. Simmons Research Institute, I believe they're based in New York. And a couple of industry partners have also expressed interest in partnering, although that remains to be seen. Next slide, please. There are, however, a lot of pending and next tax. We've had some procurement delays, so no compute on hand yet. But we've sourced quotes, and we haven't stopped. We've trained on pre-existing lab resources. Fortunately, we've had some on hand. However, the RAM cost increase recently has me bothered a little bit with costs. So that may be something to look into further. And we need to continue our expansion, preliminary results, and kind of do those applications and surveys on a larger scale. So we've started the projects. We're nearing preliminary results. That's our next task. What else? We need to write, draft, and submit our grant proposals. We've made plans, but writing, drafting, and submitting is the whole is, I believe, a bulk of the work, which still needs to be done. And I believe the last one is I didn't have it on there, but kind of expanding our CI needs assessment throughout the university. So broadly, the vision here with our approach is hopefully we can accelerate scientific research through this increased compute power that comes to us. On that list I showed you, where Howard was placed 160th, I believe that would put us all the way up to the hundreds, so a significant increase. Expand the base of the CI users across disciplines. So right now we're working predominantly with STEM, but I'm in discussion with the arts and humanities as well, and hopefully this, build it and they will come approach, as I call it, will serve as a potential model for scalable CI initiatives within like the AI landscape for other HBCUs and MSIs. I Next slide, please. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you all. I'll take any questions. If you would like to contact me, I believe my email's there, and I should have chosen a more bright font. But if you can't read the email, you could scan the QR code and reach out to me through my lab's contact us form, which the QR code should lead you directly to. I'll pause here for any questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And we will also pause the recording for any questions as well. Great. So on that note, we will pivot. Oh, well, we actually re-record.
Yep, I just started the recording there. And before we actually start with our next presentation, I did also just want to mention that during the annual meeting this year, we will also be offering presentation opportunity. Well, there will be presentations from all of the RCP participants during the annual meeting where they will provide additional updates on how the work is going, any other developments since then, and provide a longer time frame so that you have a bigger chance to interact with folks at that time. So if you weren't interested in attending the annual meeting already, there's another reason to do so. All right, I'll get back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. So with our next presenter, we are going to be joined by PI Dr. Edebisi Oladapupo, who is a professor of engineering and vice president for information technology at Hampton University, with over 3 decades of leadership in higher education and technological innovation. He holds a doctorate and master's in material engineering from MIT and a BS in engineering physics from the University of Ife, Nigeria, as well as a certificate in higher education management from Harvard University. A certified IT service management professional with mobile and a mobile application developer, Dr. Oladapupo has published in computer-aided design, consulted for major technology firms, and served as one of 26 scientists and engineers selected nationwide to join the inaugural NSF Advisory Board on Cyber Infrastructure. He is also a recipient of the Thurgood Marshall Technology and Communications Leadership Award, recognizing his outstanding contributions to science and technology. So on that note, I will turn it over to our next PI, Dr. Oladapupo.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon?
Yes, good afternoon.
And I know this is my old presentation that I'm looking at, but that's okay. I'll make it work. So let me also join everyone to thank Dr. Swaraf Aria. Thank you for your presentation as well. And it seems to me we all have the same bent, the same direction as it concerns CI and AI. And what really attracts me and incentivizes my motion towards this direction is the RCP, the word C, catalyst. This program has become a catalyst for Hampton University and the AI development efforts. So Hampton University is about to develop an AI ecosystem. And what do I mean by ecosystem? Essentially, it's a hub and spoke model where we have the hub is in the center of this university, in the student center. And I'm going too fast because on my next slide is my agenda itself. So, and I'm not going to try to reintroduce myself, but I'll focus on introducing my key personnel, my partners in crime, so to speak, in quote. So let me introduce Dr. Neelam Azad. She's not on camera, but she's on the meeting. She's the vice president for research and my co-PI. Well, the heavy lifters, the ones that actually do the rework, are the campus administrators. Ms. Eliatu Laeni, our project manager, Ms. Tanya Owens, program manager, who just came on board January 5th of this year. So she's still pretty new and trying to help us out. Of course, I consider the faculty itself as our key personnel because they're helping us with the awareness and they're going to be facilitating the focus groups that we need for this CI assessment. Then of course, we have graduate students. We can't do this without the students. We'll soon be hiring some of the graduate students. But I want to thank the Dean of Graduate Studies, because he has been a partner, a good partner to have. And so we really rely on partnership from the top to the bottom, from the provost office, including the deans, to make sure this actually works. Because it's not about IT, it's not about infrastructure, it's about the total spectrum of fellowship of faculty, students, and staff. Next slide. So I'm not going to repeat the project overview for the sake of time, because I think we all understand that this is to assess our readiness for growth in our CI infrastructure. But I'm going to pose this in the context of our AI center development. So next slide, please. So the milestone, again, my new slide actually has an infrastructure design in the slide. So I look at the infrastructure as something that makes things work. We have campus buildings, we have research. What's the connector? Where are the connecting pipes? Is that those things that we don't see? That's in the walls, in the server rooms, which is the infrastructure itself. So we've adopted a method at Hampton whereby we know we don't have all the resources, so we need partnership with corporations, partnership with students, partnership with researchers, and partners with NSF organizations like yours. Essentially, in building out our AI center, currently, from the initial assessment we've done, we have gaps in connectivity, even though we're making great progress to make sure we have the right infrastructure. Right now, we have 100 gig on the edge that's provided by Cox Communications, and that has enabled us to restructure all of our network on campus itself. But as we talk about CI infrastructure and AI loads, these are pretty intensive, and we're going to be having partnership with AWS and Google and Leidos. So we've engaged these three companies. Leidos is helping us to design the network architecture as we speak, for two things. For one, to make sure it's capable. Even though we're looking at cloud infrastructure per se, you still have to have a very good infrastructure on-prem. And one of their focus is to make sure, because they have connection back to Reston, the headquarters in Virginia, there has to be a safe and very secure infrastructure communications. So in their design, as a matter of fact, we have a whiteboard session next week to go through every facet of that design, bearing in mind that everything we do has to be protected on campus. And so there's no exfiltration of data. Essentially, I'm speaking to that because it's not just the AI component, but the cyber infrastructure itself has to be molded and married together. So right now, on the AI centers, the ecosystem, as I said, we have the hub on campus, the student center, and then we have a node off campus. If you've been to Hampton, off campus, it's not that far away, but it's a different building that's not physically connected back to campus. So we have a floor, it's on the 10th floor of a 14-story building that's going to house a new node for our AI ecosystem. So on that 10th floor, we are dedicating that particular floor to Workforce Development Enterprise. And we're looking at AI-enabled podcasting, AI-enabled music production, and there's an AI academy. We've actually ordered and installed inference machines from NVIDIA for that particular floor. But on the campus, we're looking at the cloud infrastructure itself. So again, from our initial communication with faculty, there are those who are doing intensive, and somebody mentioned about the language in our survey, and we'll get to that in a minute. But most of our faculty that are doing intensive research and the atmospheric science area, and they seem to be comfortable. But as we speak to the faculty, you may be comfortable today, but want to design for the future, especially in the instance of AI and the AI intensive requirements. So that's where we're focusing in on right now in our design for AI centers. I also want to mention that all of these centers are supposed to sit on their own bottom. Basically, the university doesn't have money to pump into this. The AI center off campus is really a revenue generation component as well. I mean, there's educational value to it, but it has to be generate its own revenue to support what's going to be going on in that center. I didn't mention Apple. Apple has invested quite a bit to supply all the devices, not all, most of the devices that we need for these AI centers. Again, for the empowering of faculty to do research, high-end research, we're talking to Google Cloud, and we've enabled NotebookLM and Vertex AI to make sure that our students can actually use these tools while they're learning AI. Our goal is not just to give them new toys, but also become creator of technology, of knowledge. So essentially, we don't just be a consumer of technology. How do we make sure our students can become entrepreneurs? So anything that's developed on our epicenter at the hub on campus can be marketed in the incubator center off campus itself. So there's a duality in research and taking things to the market. That's the overall model that we have. I also want to thank MSCC for this grant, because it has become a catalytic incentive for us to see where's the gap, what do we need to do to be successful. Next slide, please. So around December of last year, just before I went on vacation, we distributed an initial assessment survey to faculty and students. Our faculty are very, very excited about this opportunity. To the point that when we came back in January, people were coming to me, let's finish this survey. We did a first phase, and that first phase gave us this result. It's not what we're looking for, because we're looking for 75% participation overall. Yet, as you can see in this graph, 79% of the faculty that attended have responded, and we're still developing and enhancing that form. So I also would be interested in seeing what A&T has done and any other RCP recipient to make sure we have a tool that speaks to the issues itself. Ours is initial trial, and we'll soon be having a focus group as well. Ms. Owens, who's our program manager, will be working with faculty to make sure we roll this out. Next slide. As I mentioned earlier, our goal is to have 75% participation from the research faculty and also from Hampton University community itself. And in terms of awareness, I think we've started getting some good awareness, because people are already aware, not only of the AI centers, but of the CI infrastructure needs for Hampton. Our goal is to assume to have 33% response and being aware. We decided we're going to use all kinds of tools. We have a dedicated HU News or Do It News that we send out every week to faculty and administrations. And also, I make sure I say this at the council meetings. At the president's council meeting, we advertise this, we inform the president and the provost. Again, because we believe we need that partnership to help us move this to conclusion. Next. So our next step, again, is evidence. We're going to be hiring graduate assistants and undergraduate assistants. We've developed a job description for these students, and I think they are ready, because people ask me, when are you going to hire me? Well, there's a protocol, there's a process that we have to follow. And I think by mid of February, we should have everybody that needs to be hired. We should also have the schedule and conducted the first focus group. That focus group, again, is going to be led by our project manager, Ms. Owens. Next slide. Before I go to question and answer, I just want to talk about one more thing I didn't say. Again, in the HTAC, our first hub for the AI Center, we actually have hired architects to help us do design of the layout. And we're also consulting with Apple, because they are very good with the educational designs. So we bring in external input, not just Hampton University input. And I'll be open to anyone on this call and within the MSCC community that can offer any advice or ideas for us as we design and lay out the Hampton University Technology and AI Center stack. I believe we're on to good start. And I think I want to thank my colleagues, the VP for Research, Ms. Laini, Ms. Owens, and the Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Chanela, for all they do, and the deans as well. Because again, our HU TAC Center, the AI Center, is an interdisciplinary center for journalism, engineering, science, and humanities. So we want to make it interdisciplinary. Essentially, interdisciplinary is not just for science people, it's not for STEM. Because when we look at the cognitive aspect of AI, it's critical that we get input from everywhere. So on that, when I was driving to school this morning, under the quiet whispers of opportunities, it dawned on me that this could open up other areas of opportunity for Hampton and for faculty and students research in the area of language model. Currently in AI, we talk of large language models, but when we talk of physics, can we not talk about models that use physics theory and physics itself, especially when it's the medical and science area? So somebody is going to develop that as well. So we think as we research and open up the door for advancement in AI, I'm not doing it myself, but I think that would be an area to look into, the behind the scene model for AI. Right now, it's not that the language model doesn't work, it works very well. But when we start looking at science area, science applications, it might be good for the community to think about physics and informed models as well. So I'll open up for questions.
All right. So we will. So with that, I will actually transition it over to my colleague, Alexia Jones, to share about our undergraduate summer research internship program.
Thanks, Jessica. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexia Jones. I'm the Senior Program Manager here with the MSCC, and we will be having our third annual undergraduate summer research program starting again this summer. And this program is going to be at Fisk University in partnership with Meharry Medical College. And so, like I stated, this year's internship will be in Nashville once again. The students had such a great time there last year that we decided to bring it back this year. The internship will start June 1st and will conclude August 7th. We still will be offering the same thing to the interns this year, which will cover their airfare, housing, meals, and a $7,000 stipend per student throughout the 10-week program. They will also have an immersive research experience for undergraduate students and have the opportunity to gain professional development and networking opportunities as well. And so, excuse me, here are some other things that you can read right now about the program structure. The first 2 weeks is intensive training where the students focus on, or will be at Fisk University, focusing on the core essentials to research and learning about the ins and outs of how to conduct research. The second 7 weeks, or set of 7 weeks, I should say, will be their team-based research projects where the students will work closely with faculty, mentors, graduate students, and other scientific subject matter experts from Fisk University and Meharry. The interns also will conclude their research in a symposium at the end of the summer. With that being said, they also will have the opportunity to go on field trips. They have virtual group sessions as well, again, with those same mentors, and have additional opportunities to engage with experts. Next slide, please, Jessica. So the students will gain a lot of experience, and this program does have a lot of benefits. Outside of the stipend support, which is extremely nice, they do get that hands-on research in labs. They work amongst their peers. They get practical skills. They really get those core skills, or I should say soft skills, to help them really gain I would say entry level experience as a professional. And so they have a lot of time to connect with others and also work in a collaborative space to grow. And so, how do you apply? You can scan our QR code. Our application cycle actually ends February 28th, so a little over a month. The students, we do only accept undergraduate students, which means that unfortunately, if the students graduate in May, they can apply, but they will not be accepted. So this is for undergraduate students only. And I mean, I love this program. It's something that really has my heart, and the students really benefit from this. Even outside of the internship, these particular students are offered experiences to present their research at other opportunities as well. So we really would love for you all to increase the word and or spread the word and have your students apply as well. So you can use the QR code here to gain direct access. I can put the link in the chat as well. And if anyone has any questions, I can also put my email address in the chat, so that way you all can ask me directly as well.
Okay. There's a few questions in the chat as well, Alexia. I don't.
Okay. I'm getting the
Okay,
link
yeah.
so they can apply.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll just read the first question.
Okay.
What are the qualifications required for the students?
So one would be that they're undergraduate students. Second, I would say if they don't have to necessarily have any research experience because this is an entry-level internship. However, it would be a critical skill for them to have data science experience or some type of entry-level technical experience as well. So that can really benefit them also. Other than that, the internship is open for any students to apply.
And to the second question, you would say, like, as far as the majors that you all are looking for, it's open to anyone.
Yeah, so it's open to anyone. Like I said, data science majors, we've had biology majors. I would say if they are involved in any science major, they should apply. But despite whatever major they have, they will gain some transferable skills. Yes, even food science, that's actually a really good one. If the QR code is not working, I can definitely put it in the chat once again for you all, the
I was
link.
going to ask that. It is somehow disabled. It says disabled.
Okay, can you tap the link and see if that works for you?
Yeah, the link is working fine. Very good. Thank you for sharing the link.
No
But
problem. Thank you.
yeah,
All right. Any additional questions for Alexia?
Yeah, I just wanted to add in, it's been a very worthwhile program for students that have participated in this internship. They've taken this opportunity and they've expanded it to other opportunities. So it's very, very worthwhile. And we do encourage your students to register and sign up for this. So it's an incredible opportunity for them.
Thank you, David.
About how many interns are you going to accept?
So we will be accepting 15 interns this internship. It is a very competitive application cycle that is ran. Last year we had over 100 and almost close to 150 students apply. And so you can imagine the odds from that from us only selecting 15.
Good. Okay.
All right. Well, I think on that note, was there any other things that you wanted to share, Alexia, or I'll pass it back to Al?
No, however, I will put my email in the chat just in case someone would like to reach out to me directly or have a student reach out to me as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And I guess on that note, I will pass it back to Al.
All right. I want to thank all of our presenters. We appreciate you sharing where you are with your projects and what your visions for those projects are, and to show the interesting stuff that our community is working on. That's important. And thank you to Alexia for sharing about the important internship program. We just want to finish up here and maybe leave a little bit of space if other people want to bring up additional questions, or they want to talk briefly about a project or anything
Yes.
like that.
I'm sorry. I didn't have a question.
Go ahead,
was-
DT.
No, somebody walked into my office. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming to, our meeting and attending here. It's an important part of the work we do is keeping the community together, showing what we're each working on, and moving forward together. That's how we're gonna be successful in the end. If you want to present anything, we're looking for any kind of thing that you're working on at our all hands meetings. The information is here, how you can sign up, or you can email myself or Jessica or Jennifer, whoever you're comfortable with, and say what you'd like to, present on. We're open to just about anything. Well, related to the work you're doing. I think there's probably some limits to that. Otherwise, I guess we will call it a meeting and again, express our appreciation and gratefulness to you all for attending. So have a good rest of the week and rest of the month, and we will see some of you soon and some of you in other meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.